Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, and I'm happy to have with us today Daniel Carney, who is the Economic Development Director for Washington County. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks for having me. Always glad to be here with you.
Springfield, Washington County.
Springfield, Washington County.
Economic
right.
Development
Director. Yeah, it's
Director.
a mouthful. Sweden. That's why we say
Sweden.
That's
right. And Daniel, I heard some good news recently, so I just thought it would be good if you could tell us today what's going on with this distillery I'm hearing about.
Yeah, we did have some good news. Thanks for letting me come in and talk about that a little bit. We closed out 2017, I guess you could say, with a bang. I mean, I think, we've watched the past several years the bourbon industry really just kind of explode all around us, and it's kind of been a point of frustration, I think, here, because we've seen it happen in the surrounding counties, and we've had several distilleries, established distilleries, new distilleries that have looked here in the past, and for whatever reason they ended up in a neighboring county, but we really felt like we had a lot to offer. There is some history here with bourbon, and so I think this project kind of came to us probably back in March or sometime last winter or in the spring, and we've been working it for the past several months. Found a site, and December 28th closed on a 145-acre tract here in Washington County for Michter's Distillery. Michter's is they're headquartered in New York, but they have a facility now in Louisville, a 60,000 square foot facility where they're distilling and bottling and some storage, and they're really just maxed out of space there. And if you look at kind of the way the bourbon industry's developed, these distillers like to have a big open space that they can not only make their product, store their product, but bring visitors in. I mean, this has not just become about production and making a good spirit, it's about the tourism experience. So we put together a good plan for them. The tract of land is actually in our industrial park, but the back end of our park connects to Mackville Road. So, that was a attractive piece of this, is that, they could get that kind of ambiance that you get when you go to Maker's Mark or Woodford Reserve or something like that, where you're going out that country road and you can direct your tourism traffic that way. But then, it is an industrial use. So, I mean, the trucks and the employees, that kind of thing, could come in through the industrial park. So I think it works really well for them. They're very excited to be here, and we're excited to have them.
Yeah. Well, now that Michter is an expensive bourbon.
It's a top shelf bourbon. It's they don't make a lot of it. It's kind of almost a small batch deal, so it does cost a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. They definitely think so. So they've been perfecting their craft for a long time. They're very popular. They have several different products. And they tell some stories. They love that we're Washington County. They tell some stories that they're the first U.S.-made whiskey, and they go way back and say that George Washington served their whiskey to his troops. So, actually being in Washington County, they love that history part of it. So we really think it's a perfect fit. I said there was a point of kind of, wondering why had we not, gotten a piece of the bourbon trail in that industry. And, I really think that it's about finding that fit, and we feel like we've done it with this company.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, of course, we have, our zoning with regard to the wet and dry areas.
Sure.
And of our county.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, needless to say, that has been caused some hesitation with some bourbon
right.
Companies, because you would not be able to serve or taste bourbon in a tasting room outside of the city limits.
Yeah.
And our industrial park, of course, is a part of our city.
Right.
And so that
helped a lot. That has been a challenge. I mean, we've had some inquiries over the years where a distillery might find a really beautiful piece of farmland that's outside the city limits, and they'll kind of call and they want to know about the utilities and all the things about the site. But then ultimately they find out that the city's wet and the county's dry. Mm-hmm. Well, there's nothing that would stop them from storing or distilling. But like I said, it's such a tourism component to this industry now that they wouldn't be able to do the tastings and the selling of the bottles and that kind of thing in a dry area. So then you're looking at a precinct vote or some other things that they didn't want to deal with. Mm-hmm, For this project in particular, it made sense for them to be in the industrial park because, as you said, it's in the city limits, but this company had to have natural gas. And that's another issue. You know, we have natural gas here in Springfield, but once you get outside the city limits, you're pretty limited in that capacity. So we had to find a spot that was going to work for their tourism aspect, going to work that was going to be in a wet area, and a spot that was going to be, you know, natural gas friendly. So the industrial park really made sense, and then having that backside of it that kind of connected and had a separate entry made this really work for us.
Yeah, yeah. All the things that they needed. And their one of the things I guess I learned was that their processing of their bourbon or their storage of their bourbon in the barrel is pretty complex.
Yeah, they don't do the typical process and storage. They haven't shared with me all of those secrets, but they do a heat cycling process so that they need that natural gas to heat their storage warehouses. And they build a little bit nicer, higher end warehouse because, you know, every step, you know, we talked about, you know, it being a top shelf bourbon, a little bit higher price. Every step in their production process, you know, all the way up to the aging, they take really special care and have perfected it over the years. So their aging process is going to be a little bit different than, you know, some of your larger, more mass-produced products. So that's why they had to find a special spot, and having this spot with the rolling hills, and it just really, everything kind of worked out and made this kind of the perfect fit for them and for us too, we hope.
Yes. And you know, that I think they stated that people actually like to look at their warehouses. That is even a part of the process. Yeah. Not only do they want to come into a tasting room, but
sure.
and taste or a gift shop, but the warehouse itself is kind of unique.
Yeah, they since they do such a special, you know, specialized with their storage, people do like to come down and see that. They have a couple different products, as I mentioned. They do a toasted rye where they do an extra toasting and charring of the inside of the barrel. So they do some different things, not with just their warehouses, but with their barrels. And then at their facility right now in Louisville, public can't come and take a tour of it.
They cannot.
They're at such max capacity
okay.
that, you know, it's not like a Maker's Mark or a Beam where you can, you know, pretty much any day of the week drive out and they've got tour guides there that'll take you through. You can't do that at their Louisville facility. And so I think as a means that they saw to grow their brand, they needed something that people could come and see.
Yeah.
So out of necessity, phase one in this project will be some barrel storage rick houses because they can't make enough of this stuff to keep it on the shelf, and by creating some storage here, they can clear out some more distilling space in their Louisville facility. But I think, you know, we went ahead and got a conditional use approved through planning and zoning to have gift shop, restaurant, these kind of things in that industrial zoned area. So I think they see big plans for this site. You know, it's funny, whenever I take people out to our industrial park to show them the park, we've got that land usually planted with corn or soybeans and things like that. And sometimes you think maybe that's a detriment, that it's hard to visualize an industrial site when you've got corn that's 7 feet tall. Well, they really love that. They love the idea of having their warehouses, their distillery, their gift shop all right there with the corn, the specialized corn that they're going to use in their production process, growing right there alongside it.
Yeah.
So for them to see that, you know, they kind of thought, okay, we can really do a whole complex here and have all of this in one spot. Which, you know, saves them money from not having to move things from different locations too.
And you know, that's another advantage to our distilleries. People don't even think about, you know, perhaps, of course I've interviewed Freddie Noe on Channel 6 a couple months back, maybe a little longer, but you know, think about how our farmers, how this benefits our farmers.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of local farmers that have contracts with the distilleries in the area, and that's a way for them, you know, to have a use for the corn that they're growing. Those commodity prices have gone quite a bit lower in the past few years, but having those contracts with the bourbon distilleries really helps our farmers, and this is another opportunity. You know, for a distillery to get the corn that they need, and for a local farmer to, you know, maybe benefit from that as well.
Right. And so, and phase one will be just the warehouse and storage and all.
So far, what we're looking at is probably breaking ground maybe sometime this summer 2018, for the first rick house, which would probably be a 25,000 to 30,000 capacity barrel rick house. And then I think from there, the plans will start to take shape. But if it's going to be a few years before they can get a distillery up and running here, they may add a tasting room or something off that rick house to at least have a place where people can come, see the warehouse, try the product, that kind of thing. And then I think, down the road, the plans, if that industry, the bourbon industry as a whole, continues to grow like it has, and it appears that it's going to do that, I think, this site could have a lot of uses for this company.
Yeah. So hopefully, not only are we going to benefit through those taxes,
right?
Because there's plenty of taxes on bourbon, and all
right.
the bourbon industry people, talk about that. However, that's good for Kentucky, and that's good for Washington County.
That's right. Yeah. Anytime you can increase your tax base, that's why you have an economic development authority. You got to pay your police and keep your roads clean and that kind of thing, and that's what the taxes do. And this helps us diversify a little bit. I know we've seen the bourbon industry happen all around us, but not having it here, anytime you can add another sector to your industrial profile, that's a good thing, because there's going to be peaks and valleys in all industries. So when you've got some different things going on, you feel a little bit better about what you have going on in your local economy. That's
true. That's very true. And like you said, we've got that all around us. We might as well be a part of it.
Sure. Yeah.
And that creates tourism here, and people coming and staying in your hotels and eating at your restaurants. And then that's going to create jobs too, right, Daniel?
Yeah,
we hope
hope so. We hope that this is just a start. We hope that this is a start for Michter's to expand their presence here and invest here, but we hope it also exposes us to some other companies, whether they be bourbon distilleries, they be companies that are into the bottle making or the packaging or whatever it is. One of the first stories I saw when this came out was out of a Louisville news publication, and on the publication it had a map to show how to get to Springfield from Louisville, which I thought was kind of funny. We're what, 60 miles down the road, and for us, we just assume we're not far at all. But in kind of thinking about that, people probably don't know. People that have lived in Louisville their whole life, or aren't from Kentucky at all, don't realize where Springfield is in relation to Louisville or Lexington or Cincinnati, Nashville. We're really centrally located, so just having that map there showing, hey, we are in close proximity, we've got good road access, little things like that. People start thinking, oh, okay, Springfield's not that far, they do have something to offer. So hopefully 2018 will be a good year to start this project, and then maybe get some other projects in the works as well. Yes.
Well, that's just really exciting, Daniel. I'm just thrilled about it, and I'm looking forward to sampling that.
Yeah,
Michter.
Next time we'll have to do a tasting, maybe. So we'll do that for sure.
Yeah. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because I know you've worked very hard on this project, and congratulations to the city of Springfield and Washington County.
Well, thank you. A lot of people worked really hard, and I want to say thank you to City Council, which includes you, the mayor, county judge, fiscal court, my board of directors, planning and zoning, the adjustment board. There was a lot of
tourism.
There was so many forces at play here, and we really had to all come together to make this work.
Yeah.
And it's really gratifying to see the community kind of come together as a whole to support this and kind of be all in it together. So we appreciate you guys as well.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a wonderful thing, and we're excited and looking forward to having Michter's here with us. So thanks for coming on today, Daniel.
Anytime. Thank you.